Good morning. Welcome to Los Angeles Center for Spiritual Living. I'm excited to be here with Dr. Keith this morning. My name is Melissa Lewis, and I get to be your musician. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. There's nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. There's nothing you can do but learn how to be you. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love is all you need. Nothing you can know that isn't known. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. There's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love is all you need. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love.
And good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, love is all we need, right?
Yes, amen.
Amen. And how fabulous to be able to know that we felt it in person over the years. And so all we have to do is hear each other's voice and be in the presence of that energy, and we feel the love. Right? So love is all there is, right?
Absolutely.
Good morning, Melissa Lewis.
Hi, dear.
So good to have you here with us today. 2 weeks in a row. We're so blessed.
I can't stand it.
Well, you'll have to, because you're going to have to
Okay.
be here to sing, sing, sing for all of us.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's good to see you. We'll see you in just a moment.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. I'm the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and it is Sunday, June 18th in the year 2023. And we come together to celebrate the power of love that expresses itself by means of you and by means of me. It is that all-encompassing infinite power that is the divine spark that exists within all life. And so today we come together to not only honor that spark within each and every individual, but to allow it to speak to us, to communicate to us and through us, letting us know that there is more that we are here to know and more that we're here to be, and to make a commitment to ourselves to express more and more and more love. So I welcome you into our virtual space this morning, whether you're joining us live through Zoom or YouTube Live, and or at a later date through one of our channels for watching the previously recorded service. Know that exactly right where you are, the divine is, and it's the perfect and right place to be in this very moment. And so often on the third Sunday of the month, as today is that, we are going to use a multimedia show for our service. So there's slides that'll go along with the service. And without further ado, we're going to put those on the screen and get started. And so we are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. Our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. We come together to do just that, to honor the essence of spirit that exists within each and every one of us. On the screen, you'll see the sparkly image of this beloved being of light that has her hands in prayer positions, or maybe I should say their hands in prayer position, with their beautiful nails painted and the glimmer and light that exists in their eyes as they're bending forward in an act of namaste. It's a greeting, a Sanskrit greeting that means I bow to you, as well as in its most modern incarnation is I allow the light and the divine that is within me to honor and acknowledge that which is within you, as well as living in the flow of life itself, that which I give. I open myself up to receive. So let's all do that together as we take a deep breath in, exhaling and bending forward, receiving that which we give, saying together, Namaste. We are a community that has come together for many, many, many years now, 30 plus years. And as a community, we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities, for we stand with you and you are safe here, albeit in a non-physical space. The energy that is the interconnectedness of all life that we share permeates your being no matter where you are, and know that you are indeed safe in and as yourself and the perfection of the divine. And so let's all say together, we welcome one and we welcome all. As I said before, we've come together for a little over 30 years teaching primarily the teachings of Dr. Ernest Holmes and the science of mind. Although we have other related New Thought teachings, the essence and the core of that which we practice here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles is there's only one power in the universe. That power expresses itself by means of you and by means of me. It is an all-encompassing infinite power, and that is expressed and experienced through our mind. We call it God. It's also known as the thing itself. It is perfection, it is wholeness, it is completeness. It is that which is life itself. And because we live in a universe that is governed by spiritual law, the very way that we know ourselves to be, both consciously and sometimes even unconsciously, is how we experience life itself. In other words, we experience life reflective of how we know our totality of being in a human and divine way, and then how we practice that humanity/divinity. In other words, how we act and react and interact and be the power and the presence of the divine itself. Our vision statement, as we've heard earlier this morning already, is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Our coming together is for the purpose of having that spiritual awakening, for remembering who we are as a divine being in a greater and more expansive way every single day. And so today, let's all open up to that, receiving the power itself, feeling a personal sense of self-empowerment, as well as awakening to our spiritual nature. In our philosophy, faith, and way of life, a spiritual awakening is known as the remembrance that we are one with the infinite sea of consciousness. Sounds very heady, but we all can relate to that concept of remembering beyond just the mind, but at a very visceral level, that we are one with the infinite sea of consciousness, and then acting in accordance. We open our service each Sunday morning with a ritual called Calling in the Light. I invite you to look at the orb on the screen and see the flame in this orb and the energy behind that flame. Let's all agree together that that's a symbolic way of looking at the light that exists within each and every one of us, of all life itself. And so today, on this beautiful day that we get to express life, We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths and all sentient beings come from this one great universal presence we call Spirit. The purpose of this ritual at the beginning of our service is to draw into our gathering and to our awareness, a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we each possess as complete expressions of the divine. That last statement is one of evolutionary thinking, for us to accept for ourselves more and more and more that we already have the qualities of life as a complete expression of the divine. Nothing to be added and nothing to be taken away from our inherent divine nature. But certainly a lot that can be added to and removed from our humanity in the way that we express our divinity. So as we feel the vibrations shift during this experience and during this ritual, may we each become ever more aware of the light of life that exists in and as all expressions of life, which obviously includes you and it includes me. Today we kick off the celebration of tomorrow in the US of A of Juneteenth. It's the day that the freedom of people that had been enslaved finally reached all of the beings in our country. It's a national holiday as well, it should be. And so today let's take a moment and honor all those who participated in making the world that we live in today. And remember that freedom is our inherent right. And for each and every one of us to consciously not only be more free within our own mind, but to set ourselves free of the shackles of any imprisonment within, as well as any that we may be causing for others, and affirming for all sentient beings to be free from enslavement of any type whatsoever. Today we also celebrate Father's Day. And let's take a moment and acknowledge the father that was or is in our life, or may not have been in our life. But to just take a moment and realize that it had not been for that part of the creative process, we would not be here. For that alone, we can say thank you. And for all of those of you that are tuned in that are fathers, thank you as well. Remembering that we're in a ritual called calling in the light, and let's bring in the light for all that we honor, acknowledge on Juneteenth, and all that we honor and acknowledge on Father's Day. Remembering that we are indeed one family. I love the Sanskrit proverb, and let's use it as a guide for today. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lies all the realities of truths of existence, the joy of growth, the splendor of action, and the glory of power. For yesterday is but a memory, and tomorrow is only a vision, but today well lived makes yesterday a memory of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. What a great example for us to stay in the moment as we honor events of the past and individuals of the past and the present. And remembering that being in this very moment is where the opportunity for healing and growth and expansion exists. We shall complete our ritual with Melissa coming on the screen and taking us through the song, Calling in the Light. I invite you to sing along in the privacy of your own environment. knowing that it's a call and response song, and those lyrics of that part will be on the screen.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. I am love, I am love, I am peace, I am peace. In my heart, in my heart, I am free, I am free, I am spirit, I am spirit, I am soul, I am soul. All together, all together, we are whole, we are whole. I am calling in the light, calling in the light, I'm calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light of love. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
And so it is. I love that we're celebrating both Juneteenth and Father's Day on the same day. Not to diminish one or the other, but just what a great way of viewing it, right? That we can hold both together. And I'm going to talk more about a metaphysical approach to Father's Day in a moment, which I think ties right into a new way of holding that space of Juneteenth. I think you're muted. Did you mute yourself? No, I missed your microphone.
Hello, are you
There
there?
you are.
Oh, phew.
There you are. So I know you were in a great state of reflection and allowing spirit to guide you to the songs you wanted to sing today.
Yeah, they were selected last night.
Well, we know that spirit does not operate in time. Time is a human concept. So I've been working with clients this week having that conversation. Like, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the service. But like
Awesome.
we had part of this journey is trusting that this is not based on clock or calendar. It's based on phases of awakening.
Absolutely. And how hard it is to relax and just trust that, right?
Right. Well, the relax is one thing, the trusting is another. So those are two separate elements, but yes.
With the trusting.
So this song that Spirit guided you to, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. This is a song actually written by a good friend of mine named Andrea Stolpe. And I loved it the first time I heard it. It blew me away. And it's one of those, it's a good reminder just to know that it's okay and we don't have to beat up on ourselves. And I don't know why I was called to sing it, but I was.
Good. All right, well, take it away.
It's called Fine Before. Well, I'm standing in the place I started from, in the room I spent my life escaping from, with a painted dresser and a single bed, the curtains hanging like a high school prom dress. Well, I know I'm not the kid I used to be, but I wonder how I came so far from me. I didn't know that I was growing up till Well, I looked back and then the door was shut, but that's how it is when you're fighting for survival. Yeah, I guess that's how it is when you're destined for something good. But we kill ourselves. We try to build ourselves into someone with something more. When the truth is, we were fine before. Well, we grow up with a plan of what's gonna be, and then we slowly come to terms with reality. We get angry or we just grow numb. We spend our 40s getting back to one, but that's how it is when you're fighting for survival. Yeah, I guess that's how it is when you're destined for something good. But we kill ourselves, try to build ourselves into someone with something more. When the truth is, we were fine before. No, I won't let these tears of mine fall and forget where they go. With every year that passes by, I'll come further into my own. Yeah, we break ourselves, we deface ourselves into someone with something more. When the truth is, yeah, we were fine before. We were fine before. Fine before.
Wow. So it's all about circling back to that which is within. Yeah, it's the awareness of our awareness that all is well.
There you go. The trust.
Now, my first teacher, Dr. Kennedy Schultz, used to always say, "All is well." He would shake his finger a lot. He'd say, "All is well." And when I started going to that church in the early 1980s,
Mhm.
that concept resonated with me. But
Right.
intellectually, it made no sense whatsoever. And
Right.
living it on a daily basis, like, are you kidding me? Like, are you aware of what's going on in my life? But it's that concept of the having it on the inside, letting it be come out, and then choosing to see the outside from that inside, which then shifts our consciousness, right? And then it's about a resolution to the acceptance of our divinity, really.
Absolutely. It sounds so simple and easy, but it's not. It's
Well, it's not.
our
It's
emotions, right? Like, whoa.
well, part of it is because we're always moving. There's movement, like right. There's life is ecstatic, and so there's stuff coming at us. There's stuff happening within us. There's it's a multi-dimensional component, and we're part of consciousness,
Yeah.
which, as we teach here, race mind consciousness, which we always want to look at that as if it's a bad thing. We don't have to make it bad or good, it just is. So we're subject to that too. So it's, yes, it sounds like it would be easy, but it's also important to understand there are many factors that come into play. So our teaching is the key to that is then doing what we can to shift our thinking, to shift our awareness for so that we can impact our experience.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
See you in a bit. Yeah. So I'm going to put this slide up to get our slide for our service, our message today going. And it begins, of course, with our vision statement of supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so I need to touch the right screen to move to the next. There we go. To move to the next slide. And so once again, happy Father's Day, a big day in our country and potentially around the world. And I bid happiness to all fathers and gratitude certainly for mine. I'd like for us to look at this concept of Father's Day today through a metaphysical approach, through looking at it not necessarily just about the father being part of the creative process that produces a child, but looking at it through the lens of the creative process. Let's focusing on the masculine principle of creation. We looked at the feminine principle on Mother's Day, and both are a requirement, if you will, or a part of this creative process. In the book, The Science of Mind, the masculine principle is defined as the following: the assertive principle of being, the self-conscious, self-propelling power of spirit, the projective principle of life, impregnating the universal with its ideas and concepts, the self-assertive spirit in either God or the human. What it's telling us there is part of this creative process is the impregnation with ideas, with thoughts, with beliefs, while there is also the feminine principle of the reception of that, of the giving birth to. But before the birth can take place, there must be the impregnation, the planting of the seed, if you will. Therefore, our title of our message today and its subtext is Planting Seeds, Harvesting Good. Father's Day, June 18th, this Sunday. I want us to look at the concept of planting seeds today and using that as a both metaphor and a real mental approach as to how we can create that shift in our experience in life. The great Deepak Chopra tells us that desires are seeds waiting for their season to sprout. From a single seed of desire, whole forest grow. We see the seedlings growing on the screen, and I'd like to invite each and every one of us to think of a forest of thoughts, of expressions, of experiences that we would like to have in our lives, ultimately the life of all of those that we are intertwined with, and ask ourselves, what desire do I hold within my being that can play itself out into the manifestation of the forest, the experiences of life? And then to know that as these are indeed thoughts, it's critical for us to remember to be careful what seeds we allow to take root in the garden of our heart also representing our mind. And to remember that not all seeds bear good fruit, meaning that it's important for us to tune into the desires that we have, as well as to become conscious and conscientious of eliminating any desires or seeds in our heart that have any interest whatsoever in bearing that which is contrary to good. I love this article by Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the teaching of the Science of Mind, titled Careful Planting, How to Change Your Life. He writes, in your spiritual garden, you're always planting something. Desires, longings, and hopes, or fears and worries. There's no special season set aside for this kind of planting. Therefore, the subjective mind soil must be in the right condition all the time. It's a big charge. You're always planting, and you cannot afford to have the good seeds dropped into soil that contains a mass of weeds. He goes on to say that you cannot afford to plant bad seeds, thoughts of negation, worries, fears, angers, hates, resentments. Such seeds will grow as rapidly as the good seeds and will bring forth a crop of problems just as surely and abundantly. The soil of the garden has no power or inclination to reject bad seeds while accepting good ones. Similarly, your subjective level mind, the creative medium of law, also is entirely impersonal and will just as readily take your negations and produce for you a crop of illness, poverty, hardship, difficulty, or in harmony. So, be careful about your planting. Now, that's a lot to take in, everything that Ernie wrote there. But in essence, what he's telling us is to become careful about what we are planting into the subjective mind. Be careful of our thoughts, our ideas, our immediate actions and reactions, what we are attuning to in regards to the spectrum of life, politically, socially, environmentally, personally, relationship-wise, to become more aware of our awareness and to know that the totality of that which we are thinking and being and acting upon and reacting to and interacting with and as is moving into the soil of subjective mind. And that once it receives it, it is impersonal and it just responds by corresponding. In other words, it doesn't say, well, Susie planted seeds of anger, but she doesn't really mean it, so I'm going to produce joy for her. Or Susie's thinking joy and she's been a bad girl, so therefore I'm going to produce unhealth or sickness. It doesn't work that way. It simply responds by giving us a corresponding experience. And once again, it all sounds simplistic, but it's also very complex. But what does that mean for us? It means it's important for us to be as conscientious, i.e. careful, about what we're planting to the best of our ability. And then to be doing it again to the best of our ability. And when things show up that we know inherently and intuitively are not reflective of our divine nature, to let go and to start anew. The great 13th century poet Rumi says this about planting. With every breath I plant the seeds of devotion, for I'm a farmer of the heart. It's a great intention. And I believe that if we set it as an intention and do our best to practice it, that is indeed what we can be. Farmers of the heart, meaning that we live from a place of love, and remembering that love is the self-givingness of spirit whose desires to create more of itself out of itself, i.e. if we're planting seeds of love, it must respond and give us experiences or flowers or flora or fauna, as we see on the screen, of loving experiences. Rumi also goes on to declare this: in this earth, in this soil, in this pure field, let's not plant any seed other than seeds of compassion and love. We see to the left of the screen the journey of the seed germinating and taking root, and then through that phase of its expression, it then moves through the topsoil, letting the sun and the earth and the light draw it to its expression of providing that which we consider oftentimes as the ultimate of its life, the flower or the fruit, the manifestation, if you will. Today, let's think about our opportunity, our ability, and our willingness to plant only seeds of compassion and of love. I've already addressed the love part. Let's look at the compassion part. I like to look at the word compassion, meaning with passion, of course, and look at the word passion, which we've all heard me say this before. If not, let's hear it now. Pass I on. When we're choosing to live our passion, we're passing the I am, the divine, our light, on to the world. Our love, our power, our beauty, our joy, our life, our wisdom. And so what we're called to do is to plant these seeds of passion and compassion, meaning living with this awakening, that we are in this fluidic moment of passing on our divinity and indeed acknowledging and honoring that in others and then allowing it to come back to us. Seeds of love and compassion. Today is the day that we have before us the opportunity to forgive ourselves of any trespasses that we've trespassed against ourselves and to open up to choosing to live as a passionate being and with compassion and giving and receiving love. To stay conscious and conscientious on the journey, which we typically call as one of personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. But today I'd like for us to look at it as a journey of planting seeds. Snoopy's a great teacher for us, and if we see him on the screen with his little buddy planting these seeds and tending to him, and his little buddy, who I don't know his name off the top of my head, making sure that they're tended to properly and then covered back up so that that fertile soil can do its part and to water them, we have opportunities before us to plant seeds of a reflection of our innate nature and the qualities that we exist as divine beings. What if we all were to go through life consciously planting seeds of peace, of power, of beauty, of joy, of light, of life, of love, and of course of wisdom? Imagine what the world would be like. We have the ability to imagine. We have the ability to imagine, even metaphorically, if we were to walk the pathway that we walk to the grocery store or to the doctor's office or to the Center for Spiritual Living or to events in our life. And all along the way, we stop and plant seeds of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And then Woodstock, thank you, Wendy, tends to those seeds that are planted along with Snoopy, showing that it takes not only ourselves to do this, but letting others support us on our journey of planting seeds and finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Imagine a world that had crops around us, that were crops that had germinated from the soil and risen up and manifested as expressions of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. How different our world would be. It begins with the individual. It begins by consciously planting the seed and to remember, just as any other seed we plant in our mind, that the day we plant it isn't the day that we eat the fruit. That this is indeed a journey. It's a experience of the phases of the seed becoming the fruit. To remember, as I spoke a moment ago, is that this creative process, the creative principle of life, is not bound by time and or space. It's not part of a calendar. It's not a timeline. It's the flow of the divine. And for us, patience is an important process of awakening to the experience of the seeds that we've planted. Aristotle tells us that we must be patient, but to remember that patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. It's important to remember that if we desire to experience good in our life, all that's required of us is to ask ourselves, have we ever experienced good in our life? And of course, the answer is yes. Well, this principle of life that is bringing forth and revealing this good through us is not bound by precedent, as we know. It's not bound by past experience, and it's not bound by any previous behaviors or mindsets that we've had up until this very moment. It just responds by corresponding. So we're given the opportunity right here and right now to begin anew and to know that indeed all is well and to be clear about that which we are planting. I love this little joke on the screen where the young man is looking at his father as the father's reaching up to an apple tree, and he says, "Sorry, Dad, I thought you meant we were going to pick a phone." Obviously, the dad says, "Do you want to go get an apple?" What that tells us is that it's important to be clear on what's going on in our mind and to experience clarity and desire clarity with everyone. And a client I was working with this week, I had a memory of my teacher, Dr. David Walker, as many of yours teachers, that used to say, when one isn't clear about what is going on, do spiritual mind treatment for clarity around clarity. In other words, to instruct our mind to reveal to us that we are clear around that which we desire to be clear about, so that clarity can indeed show up. It's all a result of planting seeds. And the secret is to the garden that we desire in life is found in our choices. I'm going to share this article by Ann Baylor. She writes, if I ask you what comes to mind when I talk about sowing seeds, I think most of us would think of farming and gardening. I grew up in the farming world, she said, and I'm grateful for my understanding of sowing and harvesting. It helped me better understand the lessons I learned later in life about the choices that I make. She goes on to write, in gardening, you sow a particular seed to get the crop you want. The seed you plant is the exact crop you will harvest. You can also sow seeds for the quality of your life and the direction of your future. There are seeds we plant and harvest that impact our spiritual and emotional well-being. Even though I understand sowing and harvesting in the gardening world, I had very little understanding of what it meant in my emotional and spiritual life. I found myself in a place I became all too familiar with, asking the question, how did I get here? Much like the song that Melissa sang for us. We all might be familiar with this place. Well, the not so simple answer is, I found myself in that place because of the seeds I sowed. And the seeds, in this case, are the choices I make. Choices. It's up to us to be clear on the choices that we desire to have in life. The choices that we have made, and to forgive ourselves for those if need be. And to remember that we can indeed, as Tatiana shows us on the screen, make new ones. There's so many choices to make. We know that. But let's be clear about the ones that we want to make and make those. Because our choices create the chances that we have that invoke the changes that we desire in life. Remember, my favorite quote is, choice is the engine of our evolution. If we choose unconsciously, we'll evolve unconsciously. If we choose consciously, we'll evolve consciously. Consciously is far better than unconsciously. I know, been there, done that. This is the great Gary Zukov. He goes on to say, the gift of choices is the second greatest gift we've been given, second only to the gift of life itself. Today, are you and I willing to set ourselves on the pathway of harvesting good in our life? Good is a synonym for God. In other words, are we willing to do what is required of us to harvest divine experiences in our life that are a reflection of the choices that we've made? It's important to remember it gives us great joy should we opt ourselves into this journey of harvesting good, and to be patient along the way, and to understand that the mechanics, if you will, of the creative wheel of life are always moving. They're always interacting with themselves, doing their part to bring forth through us exactly that is a reflection of our consciousness, so we get to make a decision about clarity in our decisions, and clarity about what we want to experience, and clarity about the life that we desire to lead, the good that we want to harvest. We're told here, if you want to grow an apple tree, you must plant an apple seed. If you want to grow an orange, you must plant an orange seed. If you want to experience clarity, you must practice clarity. If you want to experience equanimity, you must practice equanimity. If you want to experience transformation, you must plant the seeds of possibility. Today, you and I have before us the opportunity to open up to new possibilities in our life, to know that this seed does indeed grow, but there is once again these phases. We must plant it in the fertile soil and leave it alone and tend to it and nurture it and allow the wisdom and intelligence that is within it to do its own thing in regards to becoming what it is to become. The seedling then begins to express a root, and that root must grow so that the seed can indeed be strong enough with the roots to then emerge through the soil and begin to take form in its ultimate expression of life. That's true for our desires and our seeds of emotionality and mentality and those very things that we desire to express and experience in life. So, we're having a little problem here. Here we go. So once again, let's remember to not judge the day that we plant the seeds and to remember that we're here as a living instrument of the divine itself. John Roger tells us that all living things are individual instruments through which spirit thinks, speaks, acts, and reveals itself. We're all interrelated in a common accord and a common purpose and a common good. We're members of a vast cosmic orchestra in which each living instrument is essential to the complementary and harmonious playing of the whole. The great John Roger, who helped create the Insight programs, were reminding us here that our desires, our seeds that we're planting for the experiences in our life must include a remembrance of the interconnectedness of all of humanity. That which we desire for ourselves must also include good for others, planting seeds and harvesting good. That's the opportunity that we have before us today to live a more full life, to give more good in our life, to experience more and more and more love. Let's let it be, and let's let it be together, as we say, and so it is. And so we're going to let Melissa come back and provide another song for us.
She can find the buttons. There we go.
Find the buttons.
Killing me today, Dr. Keith. Seriously.
Oh, good.
That a life well lived or a day well lived.
Uh-huh.
That quote, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's so true, right?
Thank you.
This is a song of mine called Fly.
Thank you.
There's so much out there waiting to learn. Yeah, this world's laid down for you. You packed your plans, your dreams. It's finally your turn. You'll be fine. Just take your time. On your mark, get set. You're ready to go. You're gonna blow this world away. The secret to life, well, it's all in what you know. So don't you be scared. No, you're more than prepared, yeah, for this life. It's all about love. It's time to figure out just what you're made of. Go with the flow, don't you question why. You see, day in, day out, things just change, but that's what life's all about. Take it in stride, 'cause I know you, yeah. I know you're gonna fly, yeah. I have watched you grow into who you are, and I have learned a thing or two. You take each day for what it is, a brand new day. You march to your own drum. I can't wait to see what becomes of your life. It's all about love. It's time to figure out just what you're made of. Go with the flow, don't you question why. You see, day in, day out, things just change, but that's what life's all about. Take it in stride, 'cause I know you, yeah. I know you're gonna fly, yeah. Everything you need, it's inside you. Just trust your heart, let it guide you, yeah. It's just life, it's all about love. It's time to figure out just what you're made of. Go with the flow, don't you question why. You see, day in, day out, things just change, but that's what life's all about. Take it in stride, 'cause I know you, yeah. I know you're gonna fly, yeah. You're gonna fly. You're gonna fly. Fly.
Wow, that perfect for the ending of the message. And I kept looking at the art over your shoulders, which I'm assuming are your daughters.
Or my daughters when they were like in preschool. Yep.
So fabulous. But what that shows us is if boy, what if, I mean, I'm sure you're planting the seeds in their consciousness of that they can fly.
Oh,
And so it's never too young and we're never too old to hear that,
that's awesome.
right? Always a good thing. Always a good thing. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you. And listening to Melissa sing that song, it made me think of last night. Our board member, Olivia Lawless, and I went to the celebration of the 30-year anniversary for Congregation Kolami, the community where we rent space for our home at 1200 North La Brea, as well as the retirement of the senior rabbi there, Rabbi Denise Eager. It was a beautiful, 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 beautiful evening filled with a lot of love and a lot of reflection, as well as a lot of conversation about possibilities of what the future can hold. And I'd like each of us to let today be the day that we begin to look at what's possible for each of us in our life, no matter where we may be in the journey of our chronology, and to also begin to hold ideas of what's possible and true for our community. To remember that it's not about one individual, it's about us as a collective. And so I certainly hope you all can make plans to be with us in person at our next gathering on July 9th, and to let's all do our part to take care of each other and to grow together to the best of our ability. On this day, we began doing that by planting seeds of gratitude. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for being here today and for trusting to know that we're in the perfect and right place just exactly as we are. A big thank you to our Travis Smith today, who worked so diligently while being a little bit under the weather and getting us set up for YouTube today, and not to mention all the other components that he does with us and for us to keep us alive. A great thank you, Travis, and to Robert Hensley, who was on the road and able to help us to the best of his ability. A big thank you to Melissa Lewis for being here 2 weeks in a row with us. How blessed we are for that experience. Thank you, Melissa. And let's just honor each other today and remember that as we continue on this journey to plant seeds of compassion and of love and of gratitude and honoring, that on this Father's Day, what we have before us is the opportunity to indeed plant seeds. I'm going to put on the screen for us the conscious giving, and let's have a moment of supporting our community financially, and want each and every one of us to know that that's deeply appreciated. The ways that you can support our community financially is by going to our website, CSL-LA.org, and click on Donate. Our app is back up and running, and you got communications about that this week. I invite you all to go in and reinstall the app. The email that went out tells you exactly how to do that. There'll be more notifications coming out. I was going to have the QR code ready to go on the screen today, and I just couldn't get that organized. But you literally can use the QR code in the email and just click on it through your phone, and it will update the app. Our app is fabulous right now, so please avail yourself of using that app. If you go to that app, you can click on No Longer This Is Correct. You won't be clicking on the upper left bars. You'll see in the lower portion of the landing page on the app a sign that will give you an opportunity to donate. Please feel free to use that for donation. Or you can mail in a check. Our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038. Or my phone number's on the screen. You can call me, and if you'd like for me to handle that for you privately, I'm more than happy to do that. While we all take a moment to do that, know that Melissa's going to come on the screen and take us through our Conscious Giving song.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Love is my decision, right here, right now. My decision, right here, right now.
Fantastic. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you so much, love. Always
Have
great
a
to see
fabulous Sunday.
you too.
Fabulous Sunday. And so, everyone, this week before us, we have our weekday, midweek morning meditation on Wednesdays. We'd love to have you join us. You can access that information through our website or our app in the App Store, as well as our weekly e-newsletter that goes out the first part of the week. It's at 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning, and it is a great way to anchor ourselves in. New thought text for the day goes out each morning at 7:30 a.m. If you're signed up for that, that's fantastic. And if not, please feel free to sign up for that. All of that information can be found on our website, CSL-LA.org, which we've also worked on and made it a lot more user-friendly. And that's where we are. And so it's been a great day for us to come together today and engage. After our service, we will stay online if you're on Zoom so that we can all say a brief hello to each other and give a little love from our heart, one-to-one, through the channels of technology. I'm going to close out with an affirmative prayer and or meditation, or it may be both. So I invite you, wherever you may be, to close your eyes if that's safe and feels comfortable for you. Bring the music back on. So I affirm for each one of us that we are in the perfect and right place in this very moment. That we trust the divine to do its role in the creative process, to respond to the seeds that we plant. We think about things differently today, remembering that this journey of awakening and journey of self-empowerment is all about the journey of planting seeds. And I affirm for each of us that we remember that the day that we plant the seeds are not the days that we reap the benefits. So we make covenant and commitment to ourselves to be patient. And to remember that in this state of being patient, we can tend to not only planting more seeds, but to raising our awareness of our awareness and to live more compassionately and lovingly and to reveal from us the qualities that we are imbued with: peace and power, and beauty and joy, and light and life, and love and wisdom. Today is the day that we allow ourselves to grow, and to glow, and to know as spirit itself. Today is the day that we remember that we are interconnected and interrelated to all beings of life. And so we allow ourselves, as a result of our choices, to be kinder, to be gentler, to be more tuned in to the flow of life itself, accepting the good that is being made manifest through us and as us, and remembering that should we desire anything in life to be different, our opportunity is to make a different choice and to invite clarity into our being, letting it be moment by moment, thought by thought. Accepting the spiritual reality that in our world, the world, all is well. And so it is. Thank you so very much for being with us today. May your day and the days ahead be fueled and filled with love. You are the divine fully expressed. Namaste. And so it is. Thank you.